Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day this is for you. Welcome. It's me, Wingish Nibe Majeki Kwe, sweet grass water medicine woman, your friend for years, medicine woman, Christiana Carr, Chris Carr, superstar, all this beautiful divine being right here. Yeah, we're gonna do our free flowing Fridays. I just want to make a record again of my episode last night. It got scary and things are changing because I wasn't woken up in the middle of the night with a headache. So this has happened before. I used to call my monthly hangovers. It happened around my moon time, either in the ovulation part or in the just before flow time. If I push myself in fatigue days, I call them fatigue days because there's just a couple of days before like peak ovulation, a couple of days before flow time. Sorry if it's TMI for you, you can skip by. If you're a woman, this is good to pay attention to your cycles as well. If you have a woman in your life, it's not, whatever. Anyways, last night I went to bed early. It's by 11. And I looked at my clock. It was 1:07 a.m. This was after the incident, before all the puking, and before I was able to go back to sleep. Went to bed about 11. And woke up. The sweats. Thick sweats. Wondering if I'm going to puke. And then all of a sudden my body is convulsing. And then I'm flipped over. And then the next thing, I'm on the floor on my back. I think I had a pile of clothes by my bed. And in that, and then the coolness seemed to cool me down because it was almost like I was overheating. Maybe it was a hot flash or something that happened. I don't know. I did have this kind of nauseous feeling. No, not like when you're going to be sick, but sometimes you don't know. Maybe it's going to pass. It's not like it was on its way up or anything, but like, maybe it's just a bit of indigestion, whatever. So I stayed on my floor and in my head, and I'm calling in, oh God, sweet Jesus, please help me through this. Oh my goodness, don't leave me. Help me to stay calm. I don't need a panic attack going along with this. And in my head, do I call 911? The doctor said to call 911 if I have these episodes again. I lay there and it's hard to sleep with the clothes on now, so I just sleep in my underwear too, anyways. But thinking of this picture, if they come in, I'm on this my floor with, so maybe I can get myself, I'm getting dressed before I call, maybe, whatever, right? And then, of course, that buzzing, and it feels like I've got this cool helmet on my head. My head feels like it's in this cool helmet or whatever, I don't know yet. There's thick beads of sweat dripping from me. I got myself up in my bed, and then the vomiting started. A garbage bag beside my bed. I was puking into that because I was feeling such that lightheadedness and stuff that I didn't want a chance going to the bathroom. My bathroom's right up at the top of the stairs, right? So is my door, right? So I got to go out the door and the top of the stairs. So, well, if I can't, it feels like everything's going to let go below too. So, and this time there was no headache. So it's not a migraine thing that's causing that nauseousness. It's not, there's stress in my life. I'm not feeling it the same. I'm feeling very sad and grieving. Not really feeling stressed though. Like I'm tired. My body has no fight left, right? Like last night calling in that support, and I do, and then it's like I feel like this cool helmet, but I also feel like this whole thing, energy around me, and I know I'm not just holding myself up on my own, that without the support of the divine, I don't know. I just know I need to take it a little more seriously and not write myself off, because once I do that, it's easier for others to do that too. And even my doctor, I don't know if there's been a change there or not, so I'm calling, because these are different. It's not a predictable thing. It's not going with what I thought before. If I'd smoked too much that day, if I'd stayed up too late, if I'd done some like hard laboring jobs or whatever. And then the stress, it was all that like perfect storm stuff, right? And then the last night, I wasn't feeling overwhelmed with stress. Sadness. Yeah. And letting that flow. So it was different. There's different. So, and there's already been there was a spot in my brain. It was in the gray matter, so it didn't matter apparently. So I don't know how that got there. We were looking at the MS, had the MS rolled out. Parts of me thinks maybe epilepsy. Well, my whole life I've always had like huge shivers, you know, like everybody gets them, but mine has been, I haven't seen too many people get the shivers like I do, and as often as I do, as easily as I do. And they hurt now. Excuse me. I need a shower. So I'm working tonight. That's good. Yay. As I'm ready to work. That's the thing. It starts, I'm like, well, what the heck? I want to work. I don't want to have having seizures. Especially waking up in the middle of the night with them. I'm trying to stay calm and not add the panic attack to it and stuff, right? And get myself caught up in it being worse than it is. But I don't want to write it off either. Right? That song came in my head by Rob Thomas or Matchbox 20. I don't know. Just a little unwell. I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell. I know right now you can't tell. But wait a while, maybe then you'll see a different side of me. I'm not crazy, I'm just a little bit scared. I know right now you don't care. But soon enough you're gonna think of me and how I used to be. Pretty soon they'll come to get me, and they're taking me away. Anyway, that kept playing in my head, yeah. Last night. So let's get down to our business here. Oh, my throat was so sore, swollen this morning from the puking. As I still feel it, but there was no headache. It was just the sweating and just that all weird buzzing energy around my whole body. And my heart beating strangely. Okay. Oh, prayers and extra energy. Love that, you know, and we'll find out what's going on in me. Oh. I'm sorry to say I'm going through in my life. Don't wish it on anybody, not even my worstest enemies. I would never wish this feeling on anybody. So I don't know, is it part of the grief? Am I just writing it off? Because I'm so overwhelmed with grief? I just know that I'm scared It happens alone. I got a hold of my doctor today. Right? Just physically. Physical, right? Physically, physical. Emotions are one thing. I can feel those and flow through those. I guess I spent my life not really listening to my body and my own signals. Not trusting my own self. So, yeah, I gotta learn to listen. Listen to this little inside. Need to take care of this one. Right? We all do. We're all responsible for that. Okay, our groups. Last night we did poetry. We talked about poetry. And then I got inspired after. So, that's what I wrote. I've had enough. Enough of all your lies. The tears I've cried and all the times I've tried. It's time to say I said goodbye. I've had enough. Enough of all the things you said and did that pulled me in and made me feel bad and sad for the tough life you said you had. I've had enough. Enough of all the games being played. Of taking all the blame and the shame, left feeling worthless and lame. I've had enough of acting tough when I am drowning in so much emotional stuff, barely able to take a breath before another wave comes. I've had enough of feeling empty, giving it all I've got, left lost in the dark with a broken heart. So much shit to transmute, God, where do I start? I've had enough. I'm so empty, I am ready to receive and open to be filled up from all the love that I got. Because I am enough. I don't know. A lady shared a slam poetry thing and I love that, so I guess that was my shot at a slam poetry. Had enough. And I know I am enough. As I am. And that's how I've always been. Take me as I am. But things got in there. Like, oh, maybe that's not okay. I don't know. So, thank you very much. I love you so. Thank you. Feels better just to let it flow. Get it out. Get it out. Better out than in. Better out than in. And don't dump it on anybody. Please don't take it as yours personally. Send that energy. Send me some well wishes, okay? No worries. We're okay. No worries. Well wishes. We're good. We're good. We're good. See? It's a rebirth. That's what I felt last night. Gentleness. I need to be gentle with myself because maybe that's what is happening. All right? Who knows? Maybe that's what we're all going through. Let's be gentle with ourselves then. We get tough and we're hardest on ourselves. We're our own worst critics. And why is that? What have we taken on? It's time to release what is not ours, right? To carry anymore. What does that animal want to say? Then release that aggressiveness. Okay, there's a time for aggression, and there's times when it's not. So are you feeling overwhelmed? Me too. And then when that comes up in me, but sometimes we have to aggressively protect our boundaries or place boundaries down, and not everybody's going to like that, right? I'm working on that assertiveness. And, you know, it's been aggression for so long. Let's try that assertiveness. Maybe. Okay. Here we go. Calling all of our energies from the east, the path of illumination and clarity, place of fire, place of man. Excuse me. Calling in all of our energies from the south, the emotions, the child, the innocence, place of water. Calling back all of our energies from the west, that's the place of introspection, the earth, physical, woman. And calling back all of our energies from the north, that's our wisdom years, the air, the mental. We walk our red road from childhood, where we picked up lots, and then we need to cleanse that out as we get up into adulthood. Cleansing all that we're not. Cleansing and seeing that we have our own connection, and it's about empowerment, not power over. We don't have power over the earth. We are empowered. We're supported and sustained by the earth. It's not us that support and sustain the earth. It's the earth that supports and sustains us in our lives. And east to west is the blue road of spirit, as the sun is always there with us, right? And that spirit is in there. It's giving that call to action. It's telling you what is that action that you have to take. And that's why I'm thinking this talk therapy, we need to be quiet to hear that still quiet voice. If we're talking too much, right? Too much. Time to listen inside. And what is that action being called to you? And that's the victory. When you can quiet down and you can hear that, that's the victory. When you can hear spirit speaking to you, through you, there's a victory. So that's, and if we can quiet down enough and rest and not feel guilty that, well, oh my goodness, we're just sitting still. Nothing's getting done. Well, if we can see so much gets done in those resting periods. You don't see that seed breaking out of its little shell and growing up there. You don't see the results of that seed you planted until it breaks through the earth and you can start to see it on the top. Well, so much happens underneath there that you don't see before what you can see shows up. So it's the same with our dreams and the seeds that we plant in ourselves, right? Sometimes we don't see it right away until it starts to sprout, right? All right, well, so look at that. Above, below, and within. Okay. And we're going to do it today, right? Let's recollect. And you know what? I'm going to leave my cards up here again. I'm ready to work. If you want to call, you want to do maybe a private reading, get in touch with the lessons current in your life like that, we can do that. We can work with these. We can do, again, if you're interested in finding out more of what this no-talk therapy is all about. How can I heal it if I can't talk about it? I don't know. All right, some things just that the words limit us. Words limit us. They sure do. Language limits. Can also help create expansion as well. Depends on how you use it, I guess, eh? Depends on how you use it. So let's look at, let's see this action. Okay, this action. We're going to look at that action that's there for us to take today, any day that you watch it. So that action, the male side reflecting on that, the doing energy. Right? That expansion, we are expanding by the stories we tell. Are the stories you're telling yourself expanding? Or are they limiting? Are they limiting you? Do you keep caught up in the same stories? See, and that's why the no-talk therapy, because sometimes we can just keep talking. Sometimes those places, like, I'm not going against AA and things like that, but sometimes we can get into groups and we keep telling that same story that we're not getting out of that. We're not creating an expansion. We're kind of staying in the limiting. We're limited by the stories we tell ourselves. So the stories you're telling yourself, tell yourself stories today that create that expansion. Or listen to the stories being told through you. What comes up in you, right? What are you transmuting? Right? Transmuting and changing those stories that you're telling, you know, shedding the skin of the story that is so limiting. Right? Look, I'm going to use these today. And then you can still see them. Right? So what is that? Let's transmute those stories that we're telling and tell ourselves stories that create expansion in our lives, that don't limit us. All right? So we're looking for stories that create that expansion. That's what we're doing. Maybe you're going to write a story, tell yourself a story, tell somebody else a story. I don't know. I don't know what that is for you in that action in some way. Reflecting on that story. Telling to yourself, and we're transmuting. Or a story of how you've already transmuted poison. Look at how far you've come already. Right? And take that action to reflect on that story. What have you changed already in your life? What has already been transmuted and created expansion? Let's reflect then on that. Not female energies coming in her. Okay. Okay, and as we're reflecting that creative Creativity. The victories, right? We're reflecting on the victories of how we've created expansion, of how we've transmorphed. How about that? Let's transmorph that shit. Right? And returning to that stability of Mother Earth and seeing that we're always fully supported by Mother Earth. That's the victory. When we can see it is us that needs the earth to survive, not the earth that needs us to survive. Then that's a victory. There's the expansion. And then we're all giving, we're all receiving. We know our Mother Earth is bountiful and eternally fertile. There's enough for everyone, so we don't limit. There's a victory. When we can see through all those poisons that we've transmuted, all those tiny little victories. Look at the little victory. Maybe you got out of bed today. That was a victory because you really didn't want to. So look at those things. We all have these little mini victories. It's up to us to have a look and see. See what that is for you, okay? Because how are you going to know what that is for me? Or maybe that's true. Maybe some of us need help and have that pointed out to us. Well, look at, you thought you weren't going to do this. Look at, you thought you'd never walk, and look at you walking, right? Whatever that is. Okay, and that's what I think our friends should do. Our friends aren't there to point us out, call us on our shit. No, that's something we need to do for ourselves. That's inside jobs. Our friends can help us point out those little victories that we had. Look at, you didn't think you could get through that, you got here. But that's what I feel friends are for. We have enough critics in our lives, enough people to point out and say what they think we're doing wrong. But how do we know? No matter how close we are to a friend, no matter how close we are, if it's family or whatever, how do we know what their lessons are? It's inside jobs. So there's a victory in that, in those stories, and in transmuting those poisons, helping others to see how they've already transmuted poisons. Not pointing out the poisons that they have to transmute. No. Inside job. Help them to see that they're fully supported, okay? They can have this victory. They've already had victories. They've already transmuted poisons. Let's remind our friends of that in a loving way. Not, hey girl, fix your crown. It's crooked and this is why, and blah, 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 blah. No, okay? Friends aren't here to criticize. That's not a true friend, okay? Some like that, and that's fine. To each their own. For me, friends of mine, please don't point out my flaws, okay? I don't want you to call me on my shit, okay? I don't need you to light a fire under my ass or kick my butt or push me in any way. That does not work for me. That is not the kind of friendships I need. I don't need friends that take my stuff personally, because that puts a lot of pressure on me. Or I put a lot of pressure on myself from that. Because then it's like I want to do my healing because, you know what, I want them to feel better because they're hurting watching me hurting. So I gotta speed up to help them. So then I'm not on my healing path for me. I'm doing that for somebody else. And I'm really trying to work on being able to do my own stuff for myself without feeling like a burden to somebody else. Right? And I can look for myself and I can see these that have transformed. Right? I've had plenty of friends tell me I've got walked all over. I shouldn't be a doormat, blah, 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 blah. And I appreciate it. I mean, I don't mean to go blah, 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 and just kind of, because I know it comes from a caring place. And this is just, I mean, habitual. This is kind of what we do as the society, right? It's about, I'm going to help you in your life because I don't want to look at what's going on in mine. Okay? Really? If you look at that, if you're trying to help somebody else by telling them what they should be doing, are you giving them advice you should be giving to yourself? Remember, right? Look back, check in, check up. All right, right? So let's see. After I went off on just on these, okay. And that overall, because we're looking at that, we're taking that action, telling the stories. You need to start with yourself. You can write it down, whatever would have you, right? And then those victories. And if you want to create that expansion, then sharing with somebody else, the victories you've seen them go through, okay? And we talk about reaching out. Sometimes if you're in a solid place, okay, because we're not all going to be shining all at the same time. That's the time. When we're not in that shine, we don't always feel like reaching out. because we don't want to be a burden on anybody else. We're trying to figure that out for ourselves. So it is much nicer than if somebody's out here shining, they're not having that hard time. They see somebody having a hard time, instead of going, hey, reach out, reach out. How about you connecting and saying, hey, I see, or I haven't seen you in a while. You know, missing your smile. No, maybe not. I don't know, whatever. Is there something I can do? Is there something I can help you with? Even, you know, I've got an ear if you just need to release some words, whatever that is. That's how we support. Instead of putting that onus on that person going through that tough time to reach out, because then we feel guilty again. Right? Well, it's all my fault. I can't reach out. But you don't want to be a burden on anybody else. I'm not the only one that feels that way. There's so many that feels that way. We keep putting that onus on the one going through those tough times to reach out, reach out. But think about it. When you're in that time yourself, do you feel like reaching out? Let's think about that. Let's focus. Okay, what is that main energy here on that when we're looking, reflecting on the victories and seeing that we're supported and sustained by Mother Earth? We're creating expansion and transmuting those poisons, transmorphing the poisons. The overall energies up here. Woo-hoo! That's the advancement. Right? When we see, we count our little victories and then we advance. We evolve. We grow. Those poisons have been transmuted. And as we share our stories, we don't know how that's going to help others lead to their victories. We don't know what they need to succeed. Except for every seed, what does it need? Right? Some water, some sunlight, some air, some nutrients from the soil. So, I mean, we all kind of basically have the same basic needs, right? And that's how we advance as a society, when we make sure everyone's basic needs are being met. Luxuries are not basic needs. We can survive without the luxuries. But that doesn't mean we can't have luxuries. But we just got to, like, hello, let's get it straight in our heads and see what we're dreaming into being. Are we dreaming of advancing where it's all of society advances with us? Or are we going, it's just the elite. Let's squash these ones out. Let's get rid of these ones because they remind us of whatever, you know. They remind us that we're not doing this with integrity. They remind us that we're doing this in selfish ways, whatever that is for you, right? So how are you dreaming in that advancement? What are you dreaming into being? What are you reflecting on? What have you already dreamed into being? Right? We're looking at those victories, right? And that healing. What has already happened for you in that? Look at that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, so we have two things on top. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip these ones under because I want the animal on the top. And we're going to look at the top and bottom here. We're coming together. That's how we do that. That's how we create that expansion. We're not trying to tell everybody else what their work is. We're looking inside. We're coming together and accepting that whirling rainbow of peace in any situation. We get that wholeness and unity achieved. But how can we do that as a society if we're a bunch of people going, fragmenting ourselves, and we're not even whole? We can't come together and be whole and united as a society on a global level or whatever that is until we become whole and complete and united in ourselves, right? We're not living a dual life. We are spiritual and human at the same time, right? And unite that. That's the self-esteem we can be proud of, right? And we express ourselves fully holy, right? Moose is the moose, right? Stands up in front of that Mack truck and I ain't moving. And if that Mack truck honks its horn, well, Moose thinks that's a date. I don't know, maybe. That's part of me. This is me. Anyways, so, right, that's that whirling rainbow piece. We're trying to get in touch with who we are, that self-esteem, who God made us to be, that seed that we are, and how are we expanding in our lives? What are we dreaming into the being? What are we dreaming into the being? What is that for you? Okay, so see, there's those two. They were death and rebirth and the cycles and movements, because we're creating the cycles and movement, right? To get fully holy to who we are. Okay, those were the two that wanted to be looked at as well. I'm going to put this little box up here again, just to hold these beside her. Right. Oh, move this over. Here. Right, okay. Whirly rape. Oh, Hour of Power is underneath that one too, right? We're getting in touch with our joy. Self-esteem. Who we are. Who we were made to be. And this is just, they wanted to be. Death to those cycles. We're creating new, healthier cycles. Those are ripple effects that starts within ourselves, within our families, within our communities. That's how it goes. That's how we make the changes in this world. This world desperately needs these changes. And so do we, don't we? Okay. Woman Tarot. Just a quick one. Line them all up here. East, the south, west, and north. Oh. Ow. Okay, I think that was above, below, within. There we go. Storytelling and expansion. The stuff that we've already transmuted. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're seeing. What have we already transmuted? It's that action today. What's that action today, right? Noticing the needs. Noticing the needs and taking action on that. Right? Because that's what Antelope did. It noticed the needs of the people and said, let the people take my skin. So it's noticing that needs and sharing. You have something, you offer it. Okay? Don't expect somebody going through a tough time to reach out. And those are the times we don't reach out. Okay? So notice the needs. If you notice that you haven't heard from somebody in a while, don't wait for them to reach out to you. Reach out to them. Notice the needs. Okay? And create that expansion. Help them to see the victories they already had in their lives. Not what they're doing wrong, how they're holding themselves back, whatever. We can look at that. We can blame and shame ourselves so much. We don't need that from the outside. We don't need criticism. No. No, no, no. We need encouragement. Encouragement. Okay, and we're reflecting on that the Mother Earth is our source of nourishment. So that's the victory. There's enough. We don't need to be afraid. Look at that. 2 major arcanas come up with that. The spiritual wants us to know, right? That rebirth. Early stage of adeptship. I don't know. Rebirth of the living spirit. So here we are in the rebirth again of that living spirit. Knowing, right? And unity and wholeness achieved. We're integrating that spirit with our body. That's the wisdom in that, right? It's that ascension. That's the grandfather. That's the star card. Look at that. The sun and the star shining down on us. The grandfathers who have gone before us. That's what we look. We can see. We listen to the wisdom of the sages. That's how we get the victory, because we see what they've already went through. We can see what our grandfathers already went through. We do not have to repeat the same things. The time for fighting is done. It's time to be reborn into that light, into that love. Right? Let's channel all those energies of weapons, whatever, into something else. That's the action. That's how we get the victories. By not fighting. By being reborn. By ascending. By moving beyond being petty and fighting like kids. I mean, I watched that presidential debate. Oh, man. And then I saw somebody put baby faces over. I'm like, that's exactly what it is. Doesn't that suit it? It's a bunch of babies up there because they want to have control and the power of the world. Nobody has that. Let's get beyond that and be rebirthed to see that the power, we get power from Mother Earth. We are nothing without the earth. We are nothing without spirit. Let's see. Let's be proud because we are that. We are part of that. Let's not be ashamed. We are part of that, but we're not greater than that. We are not greater than that which made us. We are not greater than that which sustains us. No. We need them. They don't need us. This earth does not need us to turn. The stars do not need us to shine. The sun does not need us to rise every day. But we human beings need that. We could not survive without that. So let's advance and get to that dreaming part, huh? And see the truth of who we are. Right, there it is. Flying away. 10 of Bowls. Your heart is your home. That's how we advance. We connect with that sacred heart, right? Not just this one beating. It's dropping it low. There's a sacred heart here. Sacred heart here. Not up here in the middle, right? It's kind of in her. Our sacred heart. Follow that. It knows. And celebrate. That's the victory. We're all dreaming of this peaceful world where we're all accepted. We're all loved. It is okay to be you, fully holy and true, the way your Creator made you. This is the party, the celebration. That's the victory. That's how we advance. When we all celebrate, when everybody is going together, when nobody is being left behind. Even God does not want to leave anybody behind. He's given us all this time for all of us to connect with ourselves and find the truth. We're all part of the great source. We're all a reflection of that divine. We're all an expression of our source, whatever you call it. Right? Okay, there we go. Right? And that's the ever-deepening love. Ever-deepening love for our source, for ourselves, and for others. Because when we have that for ourselves, we'll have that for others. Because then we're not trying to take it back. We're going, I got this to share. And that's ever-deepening love. You're not a burden. I haven't seen you for a while. I'm not going to force you to reach out. I'm reaching out to you. That's how we get that ever-deepening love. We're noticing those needs. Noticing needs. Noticing. Okay, when somebody is starting to pull back instead of expand. Right? Reminding them of how to transmute those poisons. Sharing our stories of how we transmuted poisons. Not telling them they need to do the same thing, but maybe they try something. It's up to them. What they pick out of that, right? And knowing that we all have enough for a basic survival. And if we're not trying to get more than that, right? Let's not be greedy and selfish. There's enough to go around. Always. Earth is eternally fertile. So ever deepening love for ourselves and for our earth, right? Knowing earth supplies our basic needs. We are all fully whole and complete and perfect and accepted just as we are. No exceptions. Wow, thanks for that energy. And well, we got a long one today, but that's okay. It meant a lot. It meant a lot. We're all going through tough times right now, especially on shelter. So don't feel bad if you don't feel like you can reach out. And please, if there's somebody you're waiting for them to reach out and ask you, you can notice that needs and offer. Don't push and say, you need this. Oh, okay, I'm noticing that they haven't. Let me ask what they need. Maybe we don't. Sometimes we're so caught up, we don't even know what we need. Right? So give us some suggestions. Hey, would you like me to come make you something to eat? Do you need some groceries? Do you need just some company? Do you need an ear? Do you need a hug? Do you need... What is it that you need? It's not so hard to do. Instead of criticizing and shaming somebody for not reaching out to you. You know, don't get upset with somebody because they didn't reach out at their lowest point. That's, yeah, let's all look at that in ourselves, right? And let's be happy that we're all going to advance when we accept each other. We're not trying to push ourselves on each other, right? We know that our basic needs are met. We survive. We're counting on the right sources for our survival. We don't take it from others. We've all got a direct connection. No exceptions. Biggest heart hugs ever. Yes, thank you for being you. Shining your light through in everything you do, because, well, let's not say this world needs you. Humanity needs you. All the humanity. Love yourselves. All right? Love you so much. Love yourselves and share it out. Love yourselves and share it out. Get to that still, quiet voice. Biggest heart hug ever. Thank you for being you. Shining your light through in everything you do. Put it all out there, my friends. We've got a rebirth. It's time to get out and live again. Love you.